I recently came across a video from Cristiano Ronaldo where he shared 3 of his success secrets. I'm going to share that video with you toward the end of this video, but in the meantime, let's dive into what these 3 secrets are. Hey guys, what's going on? Yuri Elkaim, your CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. Welcome back to another episode of #Winning, where we talk about how to win in business and how to win in life and the mindset that separates winners from everyone else. So, as you may or may not know, my whole previous life was about soccer. I played professionally for a number of years, and I still love the sport to a very, very high level. And I always have a tremendous amount of admiration for anyone, doesn't matter if it's soccer or any other sport, who achieve the highest level of success in anything. Because there's things we can learn from that, right? Success leaves clues, and so does failure. So Cristiano Ronaldo, who is arguably one of the top, let's say, 3 best players who's ever played the sport. He's a different breed, right? Like, he's still playing in Saudi Arabia as of the shooting. I think he's 36, 37 now. He's accomplished some amazing things in life and in his career. And I'll just dive into these 3 things that he shared. So he was actually sharing this. I came across this video where he was talking with a youngster, a young teenager, but he's also shared these same success secrets in interviews, upon accepting awards. And so I think it's not just like a one-off, like this is really just, who he is and how he's, been able to achieve what he's achieved. So number 1, the first thing he talks about is you have to believe in yourself. There's actually a documentary on Amazon Prime or Netflix about Cristiano Ronaldo. And the first thing that's said in the movie is, I am the best. Like, he believes he is the best player on the planet. Now, obviously, he has respect for Leo Messi and other great players, but he fundamentally believes that he is the best soccer player on the planet. You guys know I talk a lot about this, and I believe I'm the best at what I do. And I think when you look at the most successful people in any area of life, there is this very, very high degree of self-belief, and at the same time, humbleness, humility, to understand the value in coaching. That's going to lead to the second thing we'll talk about in a second. But the first thing he talked about with this youngster is like, you got to believe. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your abilities, and you got to believe in your dream, right? That's the first thing. And if you think about, again, I want you to think about it through the lens of you and how you live life and how you approach your business is, do you believe, right? Do you really believe in yourself? Do you believe that what you're working on is going to work out no matter what? I think belief is really important, especially for me. Belief is the ability to stay positive and optimistic about what you're working towards, even when the external circumstances don't reflect that. What I mean by that is you might be in the dips, like the dippiest dip, the lowest of the low. And if in that moment you still believe that you will succeed, I think that's a really, really powerful thing. Because it's easy to believe when things are going well, right? It's easy to feel good when everything's great, but it's in those moments when you really, really are not in a good place, but there's something inside of you that still has this glimmer of hope and this belief that it's temporary, things are going to work out, I will figure this out, I'm supported, it's all going to work out. That belief is very, very important. I've mentioned this in several videos before. If someone is coming to work with you, they either don't believe in you or they don't believe in themselves. Now, assuming that they really, really want what it is they say they want. The only reason someone would not work with you is because they don't believe in you or they don't believe in themselves. And quite honestly, a lot of times, most people don't believe enough in themselves. All right, so that's the first thing. Second thing he talked about, he said, listen to your coaches. And I thought, how incredible this advice is. Just think about this. Here's arguably the best player who's ever, who's at least lived in the last 25 years. And he is saying, listen to those who've already achieved what you want. Listen to your coaches. Listen to those who are ahead of you and teaching you stuff. And I think that's really amazing because you could say, well, he has all the ego on the planet and he doesn't have to listen to anyone. But I'll tell you this, he's a very, very humble, and again, I don't know him personally, but based on having observed, him over the past 20 years, he is so dedicated to getting better that he understands that he doesn't have all the answers. And I've said this before, in my experience in business, those who have achieved the least think they know the most. And it's those who have the most success, who achieve the most financial success and growth, who understand they still don't know anything. And it's ironic because it's the people who need coaching the most who want it the least, right? You're dead broke. you need a coach, you don't want one because you think you have all the answers. It's never going to happen. Okay. Meanwhile, a lot of people that I've, brought into my circle over the years, 7, 8-figure business owners, we're continually investing in coaching because we realize we don't have all the answers. And even if we have a lot of them, we know we don't have all of them. Because the other thing too is that we've been through a journey of so many ups and downs that we're very aware of what it means to try to do things on our own. Whereas people earlier on in their journey who think they have it all figured out, who've done a couple things and think they've done everything, haven't eaten enough shit to recognize how much they don't know. And this is what happened with me. My first 3 years online, I thought I could do this all by myself, right? So I didn't have any coaching or mentorship for the first 3 years. But then I realized, dude, you're not as smart as you think you are. Get some help. Now, when I did get coaching, here's the key, is I just took what they said and I ran with it. And as my business has grown over the years, I start to look at ideas and advice through a little bit of a different lens. I look at, okay, well, there's a lot of stuff we could be doing and I appreciate that feedback, but how does that fit within the context of where we are on this journey? And that's why I think it's kind of dangerous sometimes just to listen to blanket advice on the internet, because the person giving you the advice doesn't have context to your specific situation. Versus when you're working with a coach, they're telling you exactly for your specific situation, here's what you want to do. So Cristiano Ronaldo, he understands that maybe he can't see his blind spots and he's learning and being coached by people ahead of him. A couple of weeks ago, I was talking with a client who said, hey, I think I need to change my landing page. And I'm like, okay, can you show me the data that supports that? Now, if she was not in our coaching program, what would have happened is she would have gone somewhere like YouTube and searched how to improve landing page. And then some videos going to come up and it's going to talk about how a certain landing page layout or headline is the best one. And then she's going to make a change. And then she's making the change based on blanket advice from someone who has no context about her situation. So in the context of our conversation, I said, cool, show me your critical numbers, which is a tracking dashboard we give to all of our clients. And lo and behold, her landing page opt-in rate was not ideal, right? It was like 15%. It wasn't like 30, but most landing pages are in the neighborhood of like 20 to 30% from cold traffic. And I said, well, what makes you think you need to change the landing page? Because I said, just look at the very bottom, the very last row on the critical numbers dashboard. What do you notice? And she noticed it said 403% return on ad spend. And I mentioned to her, I said, listen, if you have a 403% return on ad spend, what are you going to change here? Like, could it be 420? Could it be 450? Yeah, of course. We can certainly optimize and improve things. But is that really the most important thing to do right now? Because not a lot of this stuff is broken. And she was not really happy with her results. And I said, listen, just for a bit of context, do you own a house? And she said, no. I said, okay, well, if you were to buy a house for, let's say, $1 million, what's the likelihood that that house would go from $1 million to $4 million in 6 weeks? And everyone's on the calls laughing. That would never happen. I'm like, exactly. That would happen in 40 years. But what you've just done is you've seen that growth in 6 weeks, because that's the power of your business, of this type of vehicle. Now, anyways, I'm sharing this with you because when you have coaching, you have a coach who's been there and done that, who can provide context and see your blind spots and give you perspective on things that you otherwise would never even think about. So in that simple conversation, I was able to reshape or reshift her perspective to see things a little bit differently and to keep the main thing, right? And it wasn't to change the landing page. So going back to Ronaldo, the importance of coaching and taking the coaching. Some people, they get into a coaching relationship and then they don't even follow the coach's advice. And I think there's only one thing that most of us as experts and coaches want our clients or students to have is just do what I'm asking you to do. Right? You're here because I've got a proven recipe, just follow it. I tell my clients, if you want chocolate cake, follow our recipe. If you start doing other things with the recipe, like you're replacing eggs with chia seeds, metaphorically speaking, you're going to end up with chocolate shit. Okay. So follow the recipe, follow the guidance. It's a proven path if you're working with a coach who knows what they're doing. Third thing, success secret that Ronaldo talks about is just this relentless dedication and hard work. And Paul Pogba, who's one of the best players to come out of France in the recent decade, played for Manchester United, Juventus, really big player, obviously is a star player for France. And I saw another video of his, and he was just like, I know a lot of footballers, Zlatan Ibrahimovic and all these other really, really professional, amazing players, but I have never, ever seen anyone with the level of discipline and dedication that Ronaldo has. You know, he shows up early, he stays late, he works out on his own, he's clean. Like when he went to Juventus several years ago, I remember watching this, because they had a documentary behind the scenes of one of their seasons, and it was amazing to see how the players at Juventus, which by the way is a club that has a very high standard for winning, and that's been in place for generations. Here comes Cristiano Ronaldo into the change room, and he's ripped, right? All of a sudden, all of the other players are now like, shit, I got to up my game. I got to get in better shape. I got to take care of my nutrition. I need to take care of my body. And this is in a team that is like the pinnacle of standard in Italy. And here comes one player, Ronaldo, who's like, not saying you guys have to do this stuff, but how he shows up. And this, I think this is a great lesson, is it's not about preaching to people saying, you got to change. It's just, you live the life. You are the lighthouse, and it inspires other people to want to be like that. And so it's really hard to not be inspired by someone who has that level of dedication and discipline, who is always there early, who is always putting in the work, who doesn't necessarily have to do that stuff, but because of their pursuit of excellence, they're willing to do it. Because here's the thing, right? Winners, it's not about the money. It's not about making more money. It's not about winning, prize money. It's about becoming the best possible version of ourselves. This is what average people don't understand. Why? Like, he doesn't need to make, it's not about the money. You don't understand this if you don't have this switch in your brain that says, I don't care what's happened yesterday. I don't care what I did in the past. I am never going to stop getting better. That's just who we are. It's how we're wired. And this is what I appreciate about winners. It's not about it's that winning mentality that they have no matter what. That's why I love working with athletes in the business setting, right? Former athletes, former pro athletes, because their mindset is the same, and it's going to be the same for the rest of their life, right? Someone who plays pro sports into their mid-20s, late 20s, whatever, that person has had that mindset since a very, very young age, and they will have that mindset of what it takes to win, hard work, discipline, like putting in the reps. Those people are a joy to work with because they have the mindset of what it takes to win, of taking accountability and ownership for your own results, for your own life. And then there's everyone else out there who's blaming other people for not, let's blame the governments, right? Let's blame the opposition. Let's blame, we're paying too much in taxes. No, shut the fuck up, right? That's average mentality. That's how losers talk. And we're not losers here, okay? We take ownership for everything in our life, and we don't give a shit about what's happening around us, right? We focus on what needs to get done. We focus on what we can control, and that's it. And that's what one of the things I admire about Ronaldo and a lot of other high-level athletes is it's a very, very similar mindset. I promise you, if you were to listen to Tom Brady's stuff, it's probably similar. If you listen to Novak Djokovic or Wayne Gretzky in the past or Michael Jordan, all of the GOATs, all the greatest, right? They have a very similar DNA when it comes to this success mindset. So just to quickly wrap this up, Ronaldo's advice, believe in yourself, listen to your coaches, and obviously do what they recommend you do if you want to get better. And third is you got to put in the work. You have to be dedicated and you got to be disciplined. So with that said, I'm just going to shift over real quick to that small segment of the video from Ronaldo so you can see it for yourself. And I hope you found this video useful. If you have, remember to hit subscribe and check out the other videos on the channel if you care about being a winner and taking your business and life to the next level. Ciao.
If you want to be a football player, work hard, believe in yourself, and dreaming, you know? Training well, listen to your coaches, listen to your parents, and work hard, okay? This is my advice.
All right. Tack is key.
Thank you, guys.